those heavily armored gear and equipment, I don't think they're actually searching for any items that could connect whatever the investigation is. I would venture to say that those are going to be the guys that you're seeing right there, and they're waiting for that all clear. And then this group that you see there, those are the ones that are actually going to go inside. They probably have, like you said, they probably have ideas what they're looking for, where they might be. So, but right now it is still a waiting game to make sure that everybody is out of this building and that it is secure for the investigators to make their way in and actually start that search.
And we should mention, thank you, Stu, that if this is in fact involving a sex trafficking investigation, we do know that according to Diddy's attorneys and the rapper himself, he has denied any wrongdoing in any of all this. So there are two sides, of course, to this as this all plays out. But it is interesting that these raids happening at the same time. According to TMZ, a raid of his Miami home is happening right now, as well as now we're looking at the live pictures of what's going on in Holmby Hills at this mansion right here, all connected to Sean Combs. So again, until we find out further word as to what exactly they're searching for and why, we continue to look at the procedures taking place regarding this raid that's being conducted by Homeland Security. You have support from local law enforcement officials as well. We saw from the ground shots, you see multiple agencies there a part of all of this, and they have a number of resources on hand with a drone flying up top, as well as they had ladders taking a closer look at certain parts of the property. And so they are looking at every nook and cranny they need to in terms of why they're investigating this home and property. So clearly this is going to take a while. And as Haley mentioned, with her shot down on the ground right there, more people are coming to your area, Haley.
Yeah, I would say it's mostly media at this point. We were the first ones here on scene, but yeah, since there's probably a dozen different media agencies, yeah, it looks like his homes on both coasts are being raided. We still have not gotten word on exactly where P. Diddy is, if he is in fact in New York right now or in Los Angeles, and of course, yeah, we haven't seen him here in Holmby Hills. This is right off of Sunset and Beverly Glen, and it all unfolded, I'd say, about 30 minutes ago. They're at his home here. They're also at his home in Miami. Of course, it's a little bit calmer, I would say, than it was about 20 minutes ago when it all happened. The guns that were drawn earlier have been since put away. Looks like they just put away their drone, but of course doing a thorough job of checking the home for any kind of details that they can come up with related to these allegations against sex trafficking. As you said, Sandra, there's several lawsuits against him for these allegations, all of which he has denied. So we will have to wait and see. Of course, and everybody's interested in the details of what how he's connected to these latest allegations.
And from your vantage
we will bring
point,
the very latest as soon as, I'm sorry?
Yeah, from your vantage point, Haley, does it look like some authorities are leaving the scene right now? They're done, or not? Is that not the case?
No, it looks like more are coming. I think what you're seeing is just the vehicles moving to a different location. We're kind of at the bottom of the hill, but if you go up a little bit farther, some of the vehicles that you saw down here earlier have since kind of gone to the other side of the hill. This is obviously a very prestigious neighborhood. I said earlier, Humphrey Bogart's former house, I think, is next door to P. Diddy's in the 200 block here of Mapleton and Holmby Hills off of Sunset near Beverly Glen. So the vehicles have basically just moved forward. You're seeing a lot more of those law enforcement officers from the Department of Homeland Security, though, back here on the street in Mapleton since they've come out of the home after they've done their thorough investigating inside that beautiful home belonging to P. Diddy, to Sean Combs. So I don't think they have any intention, Sandra, on going anywhere anytime soon. And overhead, you can see law enforcement helicopters and, of course, Stu up there in Skyfox.
Thank you so much, Haley, for that perspective on the ground right there in front of that Holmby Hills mansion. Stu, up in Skyfox, it looks like, yes, there are some more law enforcement, but in different attire. Should I say suits instead of body armor?
Definitely, and you know, and we all know how that works. The suits are going to be the investigators and probably the ones that are running the show. And again, I still think that they are just waiting for that green light for them to be allowed to make their way inside the property and to make their way to the areas that I would venture to say that they probably are pretty specific. I don't think they're just going in randomly. And again, this is just a guess. They, you know, I don't think they're going in randomly, just going through, you know, everybody's stuff inside there. They probably have an area that they know or an office that they're going to be looking into or some computers that they might want to physically get their hands on. And that's what they're waiting for right now to make their way inside this property. This, like you said, very beautiful home out there in the Holmby Hills area. And they just waiting to get the all clear to allow them inside while these officers that we see right there in the tactical gear, well, their job is to make sure that everything is safe for them to go in. Now, they don't probably and again, I just want to be clear. It's like nobody's thinking that there's booby traps or some kind of sniper inside the home. That's not what they're thinking at all. It's probably more along the lines of they want to make sure that everybody is outside of the home because they don't want to have somebody stepping out or coming out later on and, you know, surprising or catching people off guard. That's not what they want. And right now, you can see Sandra, you've been saying there's a large number of people out here. I would venture to say, as far as the officers go, I would probably put this group closer to 100, not just what we're seeing right here. This is just one group of many that have made their way out here to this Holmby Hills area. And as far as the suits that we were talking about, that's part of the group right there. But there's some other ones as well, younger ones that were basically leading the charge. And that's them right there, actually. They perfect timing. And it looks like they're making their way over towards the home. They might be the first ones to make their way in to start that investigation process or figure out where we're going to look, what we're looking for. And then later on, the suits will make their way in as well. But this, like you said, is going to be a very long process out here. And this is just the very, very beginning. And the folks that they had taken into custody, they've moved them out of the area right now. And again, wouldn't say that they are arrested. We don't know that for a fact. They took them into custody. A few of them still had cuffs on. Some of them didn't. So maybe this was a division of, you know, these are people that we know work here. These are people that may be associated with Sean Combs, or Bad Boy Entertainment. So it's one of those type of situations. And until they know who they are, they're just going to keep them in custody and possibly just let them go later on. And I don't believe the word arrested has been used out here as of yet, but again, still very active situation. And of course, that is a huge house, and they've got a lot of rooms to clear before they allow those investigators in.
Yeah, when we talk about the process of bringing this many law enforcement officials to the scene to have a raid like this and conduct a raid and make entry into a Holmby Hills mansion that's owned by a prominent celebrity and their business. So clearly, this is something that doesn't happen just overnight. Law enforcement officials do have to have their evidence ready. They have to make sure every T is crossed in order to make entry into a home like this for an investigation. So when we talk about and see these kinds of raids happen or having them be conducted, it kind of shows that they do have enough evidence that their investigation is to a certain point where they have made a search warrant and they've gotten all of the evidence they need to have a search warrant, that they have to establish that a crime was possibly committed and there's evidence of probable cause and a crime that has taken place. So all of these things, they have to meet a threshold before law enforcement can just come together like this and approach a property and make entry. So we're seeing that here at Holmby Hills and also in Miami, where they are searching Sean Combs' Miami home as well. So again, this doesn't just happen overnight. This is a process that they've been working on for quite some time to make sure that they have enough evidence to be able to conduct a raid like this, especially with so many law enforcement agencies involved, investigators involved, and you see just personnel involved on location right there. And you do see a number of people. This is going to be an active situation for quite some time. Again, we don't know what they're looking for. We don't know what the interest is right now. We can only presume that it is part of a sex trafficking investigation. Those are multiple lawsuits that Sean Combs have been facing this year alone. allegations that he denies, but clearly this could be all part of the process here. But again, law enforcement does just not go in willy-nilly into a home and conduct a raid like this unless they get the necessary evidence they need to get that search warrant to acquire entry as well. So if we could take a look from Haley's point of view, it does seem like there are more individuals gearing up or maybe more investigators on the scene from the ground there, Haley.
Hey, Sandra. Yes, we're actually trying to get an interview lined up, obviously live with the Department of Homeland Security. We had a lady come down here just a minute ago and give her card. So trying to contact her so we can, of course, get some official details from her, because everything that we're getting is basically behind the scenes from our law enforcement sources here. So basically, we don't have anything new yet. We're still just waiting to kind of figure out exactly what happened. We know, of course, P. Diddy's homes on both coasts have been raided. You can see some more officers coming out of his property right now. Just trying to see if I could see the lady who we're hoping to get the interview with, and she's just messaging me back, so I've got to send her an email for the request first. So we're working on that to get you some more details. But yeah, it's still very active on scene, just more and more vehicles showing up. This is largely, most of the law enforcement officers here, Sandra, are of course the Department of Homeland Security, and then we also have LASD and LAPD here as well. So as soon as I can get anything official on camera, we'll come back and let you know.
Definitely. I know what it's like on the ground right there. You're dealing with a lot of officials trying to get some answers, trying to talk to people. And of course, it is very difficult to do two things at once. So we will let you get to work right there on the ground. Let's go up to Stu again. As I was mentioning the procedure of this, and you've covered so many of these types of stories, you've been overhead when these raids have happened. This isn't a process that just happens overnight. Clearly, they are looking for something. They have enough evidence, and they were able to get a search warrant before they could even do or conduct a raid like this.
Oh, you definitely, as Sandra, and what you're talking about really kind of shows exactly what you're trying to point out, that this didn't just happen overnight. This wasn't just an accusation and they came and, knocked down the doors and started tearing up the house. This was something that's an ongoing investigation. Lawyers, attorneys, and district attorneys, they all have to sign off on this. They have to look this over. Judges have to make that decision as well. And nobody wants to be on the end of a wrongful seizure. So, of course, they needed to show evidence. Everything else was very quick and with etiquette would be the best way to say it. Actually, they went in and they just did what they needed to do. And again, the reason why they're still there, I can tell you, it's not like a television show where they're pulling out drawers and dumping out clothes and just trashing the place. They just want to make sure that there are no other people inside that building that may still be scared, hiding, or having a problem. And that as soon as that word is given, which I'm sure is going to come shortly, because we already saw a couple of the groups making their way in, less armed. So they're making their way in. They're going to start looking for, and of course, even in that the warrant, they're going to have a list of things that they are able to look at, able to take. It isn't just a random search. They actually have to go in and actually find things that they believe have information or evidence that could create a guilty or innocent situation for Sean Combs. So at any rate, this is still very ongoing.
Diddy is in
very
trouble,
preliminary, but again, we do see a large force out there, which, like you're trying to say, or what I believe you did say, is that this is a warranted search. And of course, they are here and they are definitely looking for specific pieces of information. What they are, we don't know. We may never know. But right now, that search is definitely ongoing.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, we've covered so many of these different types of raids. Obviously, not always at a celebrity mansion like this in Holmby Hills, but clearly sometimes you see them having to forcefully enter a property and seize evidence, and it doesn't always go so smoothly. And it was, in fact, very smooth the way they gained entry into this property. And after they figured out that side entrance, they were able to make entry. But it's not like they show in the movies, as you mentioned, Stu, right? They weren't battering down doors and destroying property. This is very methodical, and in terms of many stories we've covered like this, it was a very easy entry, and they were able to access the property and get on site. So clearly, they're ready for anything. Whatever they're going to be met with, you don't know, and that is why they make sure that they are safe in numbers, that they're armored, and that is why you see such a big force out there, because you never know what kind of emotion you're going to be met with.
Definitely. And emotion is really what plays a lot of it. And that's one of the things that we were talking about is, right now that was the gate where they were having all that trouble. They're actually looking at that actual door and propping it open. But that was the door that was giving them trouble. And I was trying to figure out if that is actually maybe like a private entrance for that back house. It does actually look like it. It seems like, if you're staying there, that's how you get in and out without going through the actual house itself. But you can see they still have personnel there on scene. Every house, there's 3 properties that I would say on this big piece of property. They all have some sort of somebody there, just making sure that there isn't anything being taken or anything moving in and out, and or another person in that area. But that main house, there's still a number of folks that like armored personnel that we've seen go in have not seen come out. But there's some of those ones that are not wearing the gear, and those are that first group that made their way in. They were here originally. They came with the armored trucks. They did not make their way into the property. They waited outside, and now they are actually making their way to that front door, which shows you that their progress is being made. And of course, we were keeping an eye on the as we call them, and it is what they are, the suits down there. I'm sure those are the ones that are pretty much running the show, or where all the evidence is going to go to in the end. They are still outside, so that shows you that they're going to be waiting. I would venture to say when they find something, those are the guys that are going to make their way in and actually looking at and taking things from this home. But right now, that process, I wouldn't even think has actually even started.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to take a lot of time. That is a huge mansion to begin with. And then it depends on what they're looking for. It could be as small as a hard drive or as big as boxes and boxes full of evidence or information they're trying to collect and gather. And where all of that information is also the tricky part. I mean, think about going into a stranger's home. You don't know where they put things. And so it could be very hidden. So this whole process, it could take a lot of time in terms of them finding what they made entry for. So this is a methodical, lengthy process. And again, this is taking place right here in Holmby Hills.
Let me put this on pause. This was actually live. I caught it at the last minute. Salute to everybody in the building, man. As you can see, which I knew this day was actually coming. I'm pretty sure you did too. It's only so long you can run from the arms of justice. I don't wish bad on nobody. Let's get that understood first and foremost. But we done seen what done had happened to R. Kelly. And a lot of people are huge fans of R. Kelly. We done seen what happened to Mystical. I'm a fan of Mystical. I don't care how big you is. You can't run. You can't run. I know a lot of people say, well, how you know it's true? Listen, if you walk, quack, strut like a duck, then that's what it is. There's too many things that's been said about P. Diddy over decades. You ain't think none of that shit had some truth to it? Don't worry. I'll wait.
As well as his Miami home. And I'm sure law enforcement officials from both sides in Miami and LA are certainly talking to each other as they go through this as well. But still, no sign of Sean Combs himself. We don't know where he is. It's not clear if they're looking for him. He may be in New York, as Haley was mentioning on the ground there. But clearly, this was in all a very peaceful raid as they made entry, and right now as they are making their way in and out of the property as they conduct their search. But a search that is just beginning, as you see those suits, the investigators taking their time, making sure everything is done properly and methodically in terms of.
Go ahead and pause that. We got Miss Angel in the building. What's going on? What's your thoughts on what's going on, Miss Angel?
Hey, about that time, man.
Salute to
About
everybody.
that freaking time.
Oh,
you know, we like you said, we've been hearing stuff about this guy for decades. I mean, when I was a kid, now I'm grown, and here we go. Finally. Yeah. No disrespect, but this dude been doing a lot of dirt, man.
Right.
A lot of freaking dirt. Everybody thought he was not gonna get caught. Well, here we are.
And again, for those who just tuning in, you know, they done raided Diddy's home. And I know there's a lot of Diddy fans. Some people just don't like Diddy for who he is. We can go back from the days where he did Making the Band and how he disrespected people. Go get me some goddamn cheesecake, man. Listen, you don't do people like that. And
no, you don't.
A small part of that show when he was making the band, I was like, this dude right here don't give a fuck about nobody. He enjoyed power, you know, and that's why I never did anything as far as videos about him, because I know that's a sensitive subject when you don't have the facts. But you can't sit here and tell me so many of the industry people who knows Diddy, and you may say, oh, they just hating on Diddy. Everybody ain't hating on Diddy. Everybody ain't hating on that man. You got to stop and think like, okay, this got to have some fucking truth to it, right? Am I wrong or am I tripping, Angel?
No, you're right. You absolutely. Yeah. You know, if you pay attention, you see the dirt.
Yeah.
A lot of dirt, deep dirt, uncovered dirt, dusty dirt, all kind of stuff. If you pay attention to what's going on here, some of them stories and people been saying is true.
Right. And think about this, though. Think about this, Angel. You think he would have paid Cassie all that money if he was innocent?
No.
Not at all.
Would you? No. Ain't nobody losing no change over something I didn't do. We going to court.
That wasn't no change. That was what? I don't know if it was 30 million, but we knew so she sued for it. I don't know how much she got. But
she got something that's over 1 million.
Yeah.
It got a lot of zeros behind that. So for you to pay X amount of money the next day, oh Lord.
Stay.
They can say all them disclaimers if you want to, but if you didn't do the things that was said, you ain't giving up no money like that. None ya.
Yeah. Let me shout out my people that's in the chat real quick. We got Charlize in the building, D Love, Miss T in the building. Salute, Miss T. Appreciate you for sliding through. Yeah. Who else? Let me scroll. Sasha Mitchell in the building. Salute to you. Crucial K's in the building. Yeah, when I was actually doing some music, actually finna put up a song on my page, and when I got done with my music, I clicked on YouTube, and the first thing I saw was this, and I was late because it was live, but I was like, you know what, I don't give a damn. I'm finna show my people this, because this is something we need to know. This is a music page, so Diddy is music, and he's an evil individual.
Yes, he is. You know, it's funny, I just got off another live, and we got word of it. So I was looking to see what I could see, and here you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for bringing this forward.
Oh, no doubt. We're gonna continue to watch this because I want to hear what more they got to say. And this is just the beginning stages, people. So there's a lot of details that we don't know, but trust me, it's coming. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
it's coming.
Of what they're
they got
looking
them
for
good
at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we have a lot of questions that we just don't know the answers to at this point. We do have someone on the line right now, Hal Kemper. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you can make light of what we're looking at in terms of Homeland Security making entry into the Holmby Hills mansion of Sean Combs.
Sandra, this is a Homeland Security investigations that appears to be on site. What they're probably looking for is, well, I should say in general, they look at human trafficking and sex trafficking being a component of that. And of course, there's been some rather big civil suit stuff that's taken place, but also the New York case where the statute of limitations basically had been rescinded, allowing them to look back many years in this case. Part of it was there have been allegations that he was drugging young women, so that there was which certainly implies that it was rape that had taken place at some point. But I think what HSI is probably looking at is the interstate aspects of it. If there was any online activity that could have taken place, and that's usually where HSI would have.
Hey, Bronx Majesty, this actually was just moments ago. They was live, so I'm actually playing the playback. So it's not currently live at this time, but I'm pretty sure if you look around, somebody else, there's another station that's probably live about it right now. So I just want to say that.
Have a jurisdictional interest. Homeland Security investigations being part of the Department of Homeland Security, looking at the interstate side, mostly online, and whatever took place across state lines. And of course, he travels all over the place. So I'm sure they're looking at him potentially transporting women around the country, and whether that was tied to a larger criminal activity.
Yeah, definitely Homeland Security involved in any interstate, as you mentioned, and international criminal activity here. So what exactly do you think everyone is looking for at this point? We saw such a large number of law enforcement make entry.
Well, it's a combination of both local and federal. And from what I understand, the local law enforcement has the specific lead at each one of these locations, with the federal federal investigators coming in with them in concert. What they're probably looking for is any evidence that they can gather. Certainly any images, pictures, video, anything online. I've no doubt that they're going in and gathering up any electronic media, to include any laptops, any flash drives, anything that he might have that might support whatever allegations, whatever reasonable suspicion that they have that led to these search warrants. Just to get a search warrant like this requires a certain substantial legal barrier has to be, or legal argument or legal litmus test has to be met just to get them to sign off. Particularly knowing with somebody with means like this, that if they go into their home, they're going to be met with some very capable lawyers on the defendant's part to challenge what was ever done, and everything they do there is going to be challenged. So you can imagine, not only did they have to work with the district attorney.
So I'm going to pause it right there. Now, out of all, salute to my bro Jizzle in the building. Appreciate you for sliding through, Bronx Majesty. Yeah, appreciate you for coming through. And I did drop the link in the chat for anybody want to come up here and voice their opinion on what we're seeing today. And I got my sister up here, Angel. And we know there's a lot of things that have been said about Diddy. I mean, you can go back to the Cassie situation. You probably can go way back before that. I remember Exhibit said Diddy was sweet, you know what I'm saying? And the parties he used to throw and all that type of stuff. And you got to realize, when you have money like Diddy, you can cover up a lot of shit, because money talks. feel what I'm saying? So you
Mm-hmm.
can understand that's why he's probably gotten away with it for so long. But now, I think Cassie's situation was just the tip of the iceberg, and it was like, you know what? Fuck this nigga, man. And like I said,
Pretty much.
I do not agree with the shit he do. Nah, I love your music, but you are a sexual predator, and I can't fuck with you. What's your thoughts, Angel?
I feel the same. We've been watching this boy get away with a lot of shit. A lot of shit. It's gonna be some answers to some questions. Ooh, boy, he done pissed off the higher ups. This is the way they get rid of him. Let's just leave it like that. He done pissed off the higher ups.
Let me ask you this.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let me ask you this. Do you think with what's going on right now, what we're seeing, is there anybody else whose name gonna be involved in the bullshit that Diddy's in? Do you think they're gonna come out now?
man, like you said, this is just a tip of the iceberg, my friend. This is huge. They gonna find. Oh wow! Who killed Roger Rabbit? They gon'. Oh my goodness!
Man,
this is gonna be a lots and lots of names. The millions. It's gonna be a lot coming out.
Right.
Ooh wee! You're gonna see people ducking and dodging and running. Trust me, there's gonna be some people getting off this continent, going to some kind of island, trying to get away.
And that's probably why a lot of things been kept under the wraps, because there's a lot more people involved in this situation than just Diddy, and there's probably some big name people.
Woo!
Let me go to this chat real quick, man, because I want to hear what the people got to say. Remember the link. If you want to come up here and voice your opinion like Miss Angel did, feel free to do so. Look at it, Willie D just went live.
No. If he goes live, that tells you it's gonna be a lot of lives on this one. Woo!
Oh yeah.
Woo! Woo!
But
Willie D, shout out. That's an old school right there. That means ooh man.
Oh yeah. Let's do this. Put this back on the screen and let's listen to a little more. I think it's only maybe 16 minutes left.
And potentially assistant U.S. attorneys in arranging this, but they also are being very careful on how they're gathering any evidence, realizing that just about everything they do on site will potentially be challenged in court by his attorneys.
Absolutely. And speaking of his attorneys, we did reach out for comment. We have not yet heard back. Obviously, we want to hear his side. For Sean Combs's part, he has denied any allegations regarding sex trafficking and any investigation into that. But yeah, this could take a lot of time in terms of collecting that hard drive and flash drives and any computers they may find. Like I was mentioning before, Hal, it's very difficult to know where someone would have that or would hide that if they were trying to hide evidence. And we're looking at a big mansion here. Before we get back to you, Hal, let's go to Haley on the ground there.
Hey, Sandra. Yes, we just got that statement from the Department of Homeland Security that I was trying to get for you guys about 10 minutes ago. It doesn't say a whole lot, but it says this is attributed to Homeland Security investigations. Earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available. So nothing really that we haven't already told you. Here on the scene, on the ground, a lot of the law enforcement officers with Homeland Security have gone up the hill. You can see one of those big command vehicles coming out, one of those police vehicles. In the meantime, behind us, several of his friends, they've identified themselves have been trying to get through the crime scene to get to the house. But of course, LAPD not letting them through. We've tried to get comment from them on camera to find out if they have any more information about what's going on, but they haven't been able to they don't want to provide us any information, I should say. And just in case you're just joining us, we have homes of P. Diddy being raided on both coasts, Miami and his home here in Holmby Hills.
So one of the questions I have is this something that was from any court cases that has been put out from the past that caused this, or did they receive some information today that made them simultaneously hit his home in New York and Miami? Because you know when they do that, they got some information on your ass. They ain't finna waste the manpower to do this. And this is Fed shit. That's expensive bread. That's expensive hours. So it makes me wonder, why today? Did something come out that we didn't know about? Because you just got to remember, how many stories that came out? You got what's the guy name? I can't remember the guy who said P. Diddy called him up while he was laying with his wife, 3 o'clock in the morning, like, come on out here and hang out with me. He was like, who over there? And Diddy was like, nobody. Diddy, you a nasty nigga, man.
Listen. This, now, there might have been, you know how the feds work. They sit back and watching the cut, see what's going on, and they probably saw, I'm thinking they done found something and got the court order to raid and went over there. It had to be something recent that we don't even know about yet. So that's what I'm thinking. But the feds will sit back and watch you for a minute. You see, the feds will sit back and watch you for a minute. When they ready, they come.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is probably decades in the making. But they had to sit back in the cut, get all of what they need, because the feds, they don't like to be wrong. No. They want airtight. So if they get any of that information off of them computers and whatever else is in there, hard drives, phones, anything else they collect.
Yeah,
that's right all I can say is, ooh, up now.
Yeah.
I'm in my kitchen, sorry.
No, you good. We're gonna watch a little bit more. We're getting winding down to
let me go ahead and mute up.
Okay, no problem. Let's take a look a little bit more of this. Things like 12 more minutes still look like it.
So Haley, just to clarify, in that statement, it didn't mention Sean Combs, correct? Or anything?
It doesn't, but we have confirmation from multiple law enforcement sources that this does involve Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But no, this statement, I'll read it one more time, says earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from both HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners.
All right.
We'll provide further information as it becomes available. Of course, we're trying to get
So let me correct myself. It wasn't New York. It was Los Angeles and Miami. My apologies.
Them to talk to us on camera, but they said,
wait a minute, hold on.
Go ahead.
They raided Miami too?
Yeah, they raided 2 of his homes. Man. I thought it was New York and Miami, but as you heard him, it was Los Angeles and Miami. So yeah.
Oh man. I wonder if he knew they were coming.
Of course not. Of course not.
Oh man. So they were creeping.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Wow.
Statement says she's not allowed to.
Thank you so much. Yeah, not really clarifying a whole lot though, but clearly understandable because right now maybe they're not in position to divulge any more information. So let's bring in Hal Kemper here again from Homeland Security. Thank you so much for your expertise in all this. I don't know if you heard that statement, but didn't really say anything except that an investigation is underway in Miami and here. So clearly not stating who it involves or what the charges are.
It doesn't, and they might be crime scenes. I should clarify, I'm not from Homeland Security, but I work in Homeland Security, and I've worked with Homeland Security investigations over many years. Very familiar with not only the agency, but also a lot of the individuals, a lot of the people who work there, to include here in Los Angeles, especially. What they're probably looking at are the two residences, one in New York, one in Los Angeles. And I haven't seen the documentation, but if it doesn't name Sean Combs by name, it's probably because there's been allegations that criminal activity had taken place tied to sex trafficking at these locations. So what they're doing is they're looking at the locations themselves and investigating them as potential crime scenes. And of course, with that, I'm sure the scope is such that they can look just about anywhere, gather up any materials. They're probably gathering up any electronic materials. They're probably doing things like imaging the place, taking a lot of pictures and stuff that may be used later. Could be in reference to what witnesses say on the stand, that they may look at various pictures of the locations themselves to help refresh their memory while they're talking about various activities that may have taken place or alleged to have taken place. So there's a.
Now I want to pause here real quick because I want to ask this question. We've talked about this several times in different cases, whether it was here, the bank channel, or the community crime channel. You would be one stupid motherfucker to still have the evidence after you know all this information is starting to surface about you and your criminal ways and your nasty ass ways that you have. You got rid of all that shit by now, right?
Hey, man, shit, yeah, you would have to be extremely stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my goodness, as much money as you have, as much as you like to do what you do, you would think that this person would have an undisclosed situation going on and not in his name, that, you know, where he can burn things, everything, all that. Not, you know, aiding on, you know, criminal activity, but you know, monster, tell me that. You are not very smart.
Can be.
You can't keep things in your home. If you're going to be dirty, can't keep it in your house. You ain't supposed to. That much I do know. I ain't even a criminal.
Absolutely.
That, you know, I'm just like, wow, dude, you really that dumb? I hope not. I hope not.
I hope not either, but, you know,
But in a way, you know, sometimes when we think we're untouchable, okay, I'm going to say it like that, we tend to slip.
Yeah.
I'm just interested as to, like you said, prompted this today.
Yeah.
Why not sooner?
I'm not sure at all, but we definitely gonna find out. Let me run through the chat real quick. D Love said, I heard they had 2 of his sons detained. Let's see here. What else? Especially since Meek Mills screams 8 fresh in everyone's mind.
Jesus, man.
May says everything in his mama name, but there's another condo.
Oh,
they're saying that too.
They're gonna get her too.
Narcissistic behavior. That's at least, most definitely. Yeah, let's go back and take a listen to
a lot of reasons why they might not focus on him per se. Also, there's another thing too, is he runs a fairly large organization. The fact that they don't name him might mean that they're looking at other activities that could have taken place within his immediate, entourage or his organization that involve these properties. So one can't rule out anything at this point because we don't know a lot.
Sure. And obviously, this is just their statement to the press at this point. So, what the actual legal documents say and what the statement they gave us is very, very different. Let's be clear. So, we're sometimes, not privy to all of those details and information until it becomes available at a later date. But you were mentioning the whole search process. We are seeing so many law enforcement officials, investigators, and this is basically 3 properties on this entire, or 3 homes, I should say, buildings on this entire property in Holmby Hills we're talking about. How long is it going to take for them to go through it? Do they have a time limit? I mean, essentially, some people are going to come back into the home, right, at some point. So how does that all play out?
I'm sure if you were to ask them, they'd say it's going to take as long as it takes. These are huge properties. You can imagine looking through one home takes a lot of time, but when you have 3 very large buildings with a lot of different rooms, various different levels on those homes. Also, they're going to be looking at every nook and cranny. They'll be looking anything, that's subsurface in the home. They'll be looking in basically everywhere they can. They could be using a variety of sensor systems to find out if there's any hidden compartments, safes, things like that, and walls that aren't readily apparent. There could be a lot of different things they're looking for, and they may have dogs there too, looking for various different things as well. But they're probably looking for more where stuff may be held. I would imagine with that, and of course anything tied to any of the allegations. We don't know. But certainly the fact that they're there indicates that they probably had, some witnesses say that certain things happened or certain things were there when they were there. And they're probably trying to verify if those things are in fact there, if that what they were told is correct. So there's probably just a lot of things that they're working through, checking off a list of stuff. And by the way, they may be looking on the grounds themselves. There could be stuff that's not necessarily in the buildings that are on the grounds. And of course, they'd be looking at that as well. I imagine it's going to take quite some time with a property this big for them to work through all of the potential spaces and places where materials could be.
Thank you so much. We will have more on Fox 11 FM. So forget.
All right, seems like they're starting to break up a little bit. But I think we got the gist of the situation of what's going on. I think this doesn't surprise anyone. We knew this day was going to come. And now it has. The question is, what's going to happen to P. Diddy? What are your thoughts? And
I was thinking of a couple of scenarios. First question I have in my head is, do they have him in custody?
It's a good question.
That's
a great question. I think that's one thing they said. We don't know what P. Diddy is right now. Just because they raided his house doesn't mean he was there. P. Diddy got several homes, not only in Miami, not only in Los Angeles, not only in New York.
All over the place.
Yeah, so
even offshore, he has some homes, I believe, in some islands. Right. So my question is he in custody? That's the first one. The second question is, did he have one of his little playtimes and it went too far?
I don't think this is nothing he did like yesterday, the day before yesterday, a week ago, because at this point, when you got all these stories that's coming out about you, you got to move differently now. Whatever your lifestyle was prior to all this news coming out about you, you need to chill the fuck out. And I'm pretty sure he did that. I'm pretty sure none of that shit he was doing back in the day that brought him to this situation, I don't think he's doing it right now unless he's sick. And when I say sick, that means you can't help it. You just got to do it.
Right. Which
but
I think that's been proven.
well, and that could be the case. Who knows? But
He probably dropped a dime on his ass.
I mean, people had the opportunity to do this a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? They chose not to, and it could be something as simple as you owe somebody money and you just choose not to pay them. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tell on your ass.
Oh, that could be good. He
And
just had about what was it, a month or two ago? I think I saw something where somebody said something about not getting paid and all this stuff coming out, all these allegations from a guy. So
yeah, that was the I think it was a producer. I can't remember the producer name, but he came out because I believe he owed that guy some money. And
you just said it.
the thing is, when you've done so much foul shit in your lifetime and your money has covered it up, it's only so long that's gonna help you and it's gonna work for you. Sometimes you're gonna cross the wrong person whose lifestyle of living is good enough where they don't give a fuck about your money. They want justice for what you are doing to people. And I'm not gonna say Cassie was broke. I don't know. We know Cassie hasn't been out in a while. And I don't know, I'm not a pocket watcher, but with her, the producer that we just spoke about, I'm pretty sure they got a little bit of bread where it came to the point where I don't give a fuck about that money. I want your ass arrested because I'm tired of you doing this type of shit to people. You got to understand, you can't continue to do this type of shit to people and think it's going to fly forever because it's not.
Especially this day and age.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a lot of people said they was working on something. I said, okay. Allegedly.
What you mean?
And I think I saw something with Jaguar Wright. Said she was working on something.
Yo, Jaguar Wright.
She didn't say what it was. And this is all allegedly, but I did see it. And I was like, And she just said, keep watching. So it's a possibility. I don't know. I'm not going to lie and say I know for facts. But allegedly, it's a lot of people been talking about some things and talking about pulling it around. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? I don't know. But I know that this was coming. A lot of people know that.
Yeah,
and it's like you said, you cannot continue to treat people a certain way. Oh, okay. Now I remember who it was I saw. But it was a lot of people coming out about him. It was a lot of people coming out about certain situations in his home. It was a lot of people that had expressed certain things. You know, some of it, grain of salt, but some of it,
Right. And,
you know,
at the end of the day, I think P. Diddy knew this window or this hole at the end of the tunnel was slowly closing. And I think he was trying to get himself together and get himself prepared for what he was about to face. I don't think none of this is surprising to him. I think when everything started coming out, it did because he thought he had enough money to keep everything covered. As a music mogul like himself, as he's been in the game for so long, and he's seen so many things happen to other artists who committed these type of crimes. He should have known my day is coming. Because one thing I do know, God can bless you with all the finer things in the world. But if you use it for evil, he gonna take it from you. He gonna take it from you. Sorry, Diddy. Not sorry, Diddy. I have no sympathy for you, brother. Now, of course, you still haven't had your day in court. So at this point, I'm just saying you are a sexual predator without you being convicted. But what my mind tells me, I ain't stupid. And them feds ain't either, bro. So when God blesses you and you start, especially when you start talking about God in your lives, you little, no, don't put him into this bullshit that you got going on, nigga. Cut it out. Cut it out. It's niggas like you who don't deserve the blessings that they got. And there's other people in this world who really are grateful for the position that God put them in. You ain't one of them, nigga. I just want to say that. You got anything? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up, man. I got to finish putting this video out. What you got left before we go?
We'll see what happens. I'm really interested in. We'll just see what happens. That's about all I can say. Because this is very sudden and very interesting at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Most definitely. And I'll try to stay tuned. I'm off today. I'm off tomorrow. So if I catch anything, any live, anything, I'll be back and I'll definitely share with my people. So with that being said, y'all be easy. Angel, I appreciate you for coming up here, hanging out with me, talking with me.
Thank you.
It's all love, always. Y'all have a good one. And I'll see y'all next time.
Why would I throw in the towel? I just got in my bag. I don't make no mistakes. I'm coming for mine, and there ain't no one taking my place. Listen, I've taken some L's. Yeah, that means I lived and I learned. Now I got some money to burn. Why would I throw in the towel? I just got in my bag.